Hey there, are you a digital marketer who's trying to increase your conversions on your website, but you don't have the right tools to do it? Hi, I'm John from IncomeMesh.com, and in this video, we're going to do a complete deep dive review into my absolute most favorite page builder and conversion focused company for WordPress developers, and that is Thrive Architect from the company Thrive Themes. And in this video, we're going to cover specifically the Thrive Architect and Thrive Optimize plugins, which are the ultimate plugins for WordPress builders, in my opinion, if you want to build conversion-focused landing pages, funnels, sales pages, all that good stuff where the whole goal is to convert your visitors, your audience, into leads or customers or prospects, however you choose to define your conversions. Okay, so in this video, we're going to walk through the feature set of Thrive Architect. We're going to build a few pages together. We're going to talk about the templates, the global items, the colors, the different little ins and outs that make this such an awesome page builder. I'll also give you my opinions about how easy it is to use, kind of what the pros and the cons are of Thrive Architect. So I'll tell you right now, it's a little bit of a different beast when you first dive into it. We'll talk about the value for the money that you're getting, which ultimately we all have limited time and limited money. So making sure that we optimize those two resources is critical, and Thrive Architect offers some really great value there. We'll also talk about the reliability of the product itself from the real world experience I've put it through, as well as the support and kind of ongoing continuous education that you get from the company Thrive Themes. And I'll give you an overall wrap up of the entire product, the entire kind of process of going through and becoming a more conversion focused digital marketer. And all that is coming through. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive into thrivethemes.com and just show you the product that we're going to be looking at here. This is a pretty awesome sales page, and guess what? They built it with Thrive Architect. So we won't belabor this point too much. What I really want to do is dive straight into WordPress and start building out some pages and showing you exactly what all this incredible stuff is on their sales page. All right. So here we are on my website, and we're going to go ahead and build a brand new landing page here. We'll call this the Thrive Architect. And as you can see, like most page builders, when you install it on your website as a plugin, it'll just give you a little button here where you can load the website up, load the page up in the Thrive Architect front-end editor. Now, unlike many page builders out there, this is truly a front-end editor, and what that means is what you see is what you're going to get, to the point where you even see your exact theme if you choose to load your theme. So like right now, this is the theme that I'm running. It's the Pressive theme by Thrive Themes as well. I am a little bit of a Thrive Themes fanboy, but that's because they've been really good to me, and they really have helped me bring more data into my marketing and into my blogging. So when you're presented here, this is actually the new user interface. Actually, about less than a month ago, they've updated all of this to where they have two sidebars here, which really makes a lot of sense for their future plans. And what I want to show you real quick is just give you a tour of some of the elements that you can put onto your page here. So I move myself over right about here, and you can see you have the ability to pin items up here. So you've got let's say I want to always be able to use heading items quickly. You can hit the pin, and that'll pop up into your kind of favorite section for most used elements. You also have the ability up here to search for elements and whatever you want to find. So if you want to add clickable, tweetable phrases into your blog post, you can go to tweet, and boom, you've got click to tweet. If we wanted to add this into our page here, we can either click it, which will take it directly to the bottom of your page or your post, whatever you're working on, or you can click and drag it to wherever you want it to go. So let's just go ahead and give a quick tour through the foundational elements. We've got paragraph items, image items, buttons, templates, and symbols. We'll talk about more in depth in a second. Headings for just adding in those H2s, H3 tags. Columns for layout elements. We can bring a column in here and select 2 by 2, or you can select thirds. What's pretty interesting is even within a column, you can place another column. Let's go ahead and show you this real quick here. So you can quickly get into, you can see how I'm inside the column. I can put thirds inside that half column, which is pretty stinking cool. And while we're here, let me go and just add a small image, or let's add an icon. I'll search for icon. Let's say I want to add some icons in here, and you can get brought directly to a searchable icon, or if you want to show a chart, you can see a pie chart. We'll add that guy in. Let's add a few elements in. I'll use a quick duplicate to pull this into another column here, and I'll duplicate that again. You can see how quickly you can build these things out like this. Let's go ahead and change the color of this pie chart. Let's go from that gray color to a blue color. Let's take this one and let's also make it a blue color. And then let's take this guy and let's make him a different color, and we'll give him a background. Let's give him a background here. And I'm kind of clicking through here quickly to show you how quick and easy it is to design things. So now you can see I've got a background here, but it doesn't really look good because it's a square background on a circular image. So let me show you. You can create radius on borders and corners. And I'll just increase that radius so it's a nice circle. So it's looking a little better, but now it's too small. So we can go into the layout and position, and I'll add a link here, and I will just drag to create some padding on the inner margins of that icon. So now we have a pretty cool looking pie inside of a green radius circle here. So let's walk through what I was doing over here on the side. So when you have selected an item, any item on the canvas here, you'll be presented with these icons and these options here on how you can adjust and move around the settings. So for every individual item, there will be some unique items, like icon options only exist for icons, obviously, where you can select the icon, you can change the size of the icon. Let's go back to where it was. Control Z works perfectly to go back. Change the color. You have the ability to adjust the layout and position, and this is where you can increase it within the content box or the area where it exists. So here, for example, we're in that column here, this one particular column on this thirds. So if I wanted to, I can, you have a little link here where you can link all the similar guys together. So for example, this is linked. So if I were to move that inner padding, you can see it's moving all of them from 20 down to 8, et cetera, et cetera. So that links those together. I can also take the link off, and let's say I wanted to move it further down on in the column. I can take that outer margin, and you can see now it's starting to move down from where the other icons are. So that's a pretty, this is one of those where it takes a bit of time to understand exactly how it works. It doesn't look quite as intuitive as some other tools where I've seen you can literally click and drag margin down and click and drag padding across. But once you get it, it makes sense. This is one of those Thrive things we'll talk about when we get into the ease of use, where you kind of just have to get used to it. And once you learn it, you get it, but it's not the most intuitive off the bat. Okay, so let's keep going through our options here. So you saw we adjusted our background color, and here what's awesome with Thrive is you don't have to just choose it once. You can actually add layers. So we could add we added that green solid color, but what if we chose to add, let's say, an overlay on top of it? Let's say you want to have a single color for your brand, but you want to be able to add an overlay on top to lighten it or brighten it or darken it. Let's do that here. So we'll click solid color again, and let me make sure I did that right. Add a layer. So we're going to add, let's say we just want to darken this a little bit. So we'll have a black overlay, and we'll bring that opacity down to, let's say, 15%. And if we apply this, what I want to see is that green get just a little bit darker. So does that work? If we drag it below, see how that works there? So now we have the green on top, which is a fully opaque. It's not transparent at all, right? Opacity is set to 100. And then you have this dark on below it, which obviously isn't doing anything because it's fully opaque on top. But if we drag this on top, boom, now it just got darker because we put a dark overlay on top. So the point of all that is just to show you that unlike a lot of builders where you pick a color, here you have a lot of freedom, a lot of flexibility to kind of make it exactly how you want it to be using layers as well. It's almost like Photoshop a little bit, where you can bring a lot of things together here. Let's also show you while we're on this section, instead of a solid color, we could make it a gradient. And when a gradient happens, you can choose 2 or more different colors to kind of make up that pattern. So you can click on which one you want to play with. I'll click on the left pattern first. Let's make it a blue. And let's say we want to take it to a similar blue, but maybe a little bit darker. And let's apply that. And let's go ahead and get rid of that green color now because we've kind of moved on to show something else. So now we have, and what we could really do here is make that icon white, right? The dark icon on the dark background. It's not doing it for me. But now that looks really nice, right? So we have a white icon on this, like kind of a subtle gradient here, which is pretty cool. So that kind of gives you an idea about what you can do with colors, backgrounds, borders. We showed you where you can add a border. Let's say we want to have a 1 pixel border. We want it to be a dashed border, and we want the border to be a red border. And let's make it bigger so you can really see it. Let's make this a red border, apply it. So now you can see this doesn't really look too great, but you get the idea what you can do with it. What's also cool is once you have this guy built out, you can duplicate it and move it around. Let's say we want to update this guy. We can quickly move things around the page with simple drag and drop commands, which makes things very, very nice and easy to work with. Let's take a look at this column here that we just made. So let's put some text on the left-hand side here. And we'll do that by just dragging some paragraph over. And now you've got the ability to add text. It is super easy. And what I really want to highlight here is the fact that you can click and drag and write the text out as you would want to see it. And what's great is you're looking at your blog right here. Like this is my WordPress blog kind of laid out very easily and visually, so that if you wanted to write blog posts inside Thrive Architect, it's super simple to write blog posts. In fact, I'll show you a couple of blog posts that I wrote using Thrive Architect in just a second. So here we are again, and I pulled up one of my recent blog posts I wrote on Kartra, another tool that's kind of similar to Thrive Architect, but different in that it's an all-in-one hosted solution. But I wanted to show you this because this is a blog post I wrote entirely using the front-end editor of Thrive Architect. So here you can see I'm using my theme here where I have my featured image in the background. I have a dark overlay on it with my title here. But going forward, everything in this area here, excluding the sidebar, this is part of my theme, but everything here is built out in Thrive Architect. So let's just show you some of what you can do very easily on the front-end editor. So adding a table of contents where this is, it'll dynamically take you where you want to go. That's super easy to do. It's one click with Thrive Architect to do that. You can see these icons here. These aren't images. These are actually icons that I pulled in from Thrive, and I just put that gradient background of the icon with that padding in here, because what I love about blog posts when they're engaging is it kind of shows you kind of what's coming on. And these are almost like chapter headers. I actually got this idea from Thrive. They kind of showed cool ways of using Thrive Architect, and I just love this. And what's also great about this, instead of using images, by using icons, there's almost no impact to my page load speed because these are very small, like 5-6 kilobyte files. They're scalable vector graphics, SVG files, so they can get as big as I want them to, as small as I want them to. They're still very small files. And then the background image, or the background colors there are simply a little CSX, which really doesn't take much on your page load speed. So kind of a nice way you can spice up your blog post as well. You can see here using styled lists, where instead of having just dashes or numbered lists, I have checkboxes here. Again, more icons, clicking to tweets. And what's awesome about this is that you can customize what goes in here. You can also customize the URL that you share. And you can also add in specific mentions of yourself in that share, which is pretty great. So going forward, I've got a 2-column layout here where I have an image on the side of another styled list where it shows all the different tools within this particular platform. Embedded videos, which are more than just putting the video in. It actually has some nice depth to it. It shows kind of like it's popping off the page and it's standing up straight with that shadow behind you. The ability to pull in nice kind of like call-out boxes. This is a subtle call-out box where I want to kind of drive a point home. This is an easier post to read than one where it's just a ton of text. And what you'll notice is there's not a ton of images in this post. There's a lot of icons. There's some little things that kind of keep your interest, but it's very content driven, which makes it easier to create because you're not spending all your time making blog posts or making images, but you're able to kind of really capture the reader as you're going through, because you're never just stuck in a big wall of text. Okay, so this is one of the important things I like about Thrive Architect is it eliminates the need for you to learn a specific tool for your landing pages and then another specific tool for your blog posts. You know, we have Gutenberg coming out now with WordPress, and Gutenberg has its own learning curve, right? Like, I'm sure it will be a great player in the visual building space eventually, but it's not where Thrive Architect is today. And I think that given what Shane and the team over at Thrive Themes is working on, I think there will be a huge opportunity for these page builders still going forward in the future. All right, so we're back now on the kind of dummy page we've been playing with just to show you the columns and the layouts and some of the different items you can do here. Let's show you one of the most advantageous parts of Thrive, and that is their built-in libraries of high converting pages here, high converting landing pages. So here you've got the option of these default templates, or if you save pages yourself, which I have a few pages that I have saved, you can pull those up as well. So let's go ahead and just give you a brief tour of some of the different pages you can easily pull in with one click. So if you have a review site, for example, you can open up this review page, and you can see they've already pre-designed, pre-configured a review page, review video recommendation page, review resources page, and a review comparison page. So let's say here I wanted to update my resources page with a nice looking template. By choosing the template, it will load it up entirely, and what you'll notice here is it's actually going to strip away all the content from your own theme. So if you had a header up here, it's going to get rid of that. It's going to get rid of your sidebar, and this may seem a little perplexing to you. Why would they do that? Well, for a couple of reasons. This is the landing page builder, and so a landing page by its nature has one specific focused purpose. This landing page's purpose is to get you to see its resources and to get you to click through and purchase. If it was an opt-in page, which a lot of these are opt-in pages, it's to get your information in exchange for some good or service that you can offer to them. You don't want to give them too many options on a landing page because they might pick an option you don't want them to pick. They might click off to your Contact Us page instead of the Sign Up page, for example. So as we look through here, I want to show you how one of the really cool things that's at first unintuitive about Thrive, but once you've seen it and once you understand it, you'll never want to use another tool with this layout feature. So I want you to call your attention up here to the top of the screen. You can see here we're updating a paragraph section of the page, but you see kind of a breadcrumb trail where these are kind of like the Russian dolls, where this paragraph is inside this column. This column is inside this set of columns. This set of columns is inside this content box, and this content box is inside the entire page itself. So let's go ahead and walk through that just to show you. So right now, here we are, we've clicked on the paragraph, but we can see, boom, that paragraph is just a part of this column, and this column is a part of that set of columns. This is like maybe a 1/3 and 2/3 column layout. Then this set of columns is inside this overall content box, which goes from the top here to the bottom there. And then that content box is a part of the entire page itself, which you can see the green goes all the way around there. So the benefit of this is if you've ever used a different tool that doesn't offer this to you, you're going to get like wrist pains from trying to just get the mouse just right to focus on the one item you're trying to focus on. Like, for example, if there was a background section right behind this paragraph section, it's sometimes very difficult to select exactly what you want to select. But here, you don't have to worry about that. If you know you want to adjust the column width, you can just click on columns, boom. And now I can drag and move the columns around the way that I want them to. Super simple. So now let's say that I worked through this, I've maybe made some adjustments, I've changed this color, the background style of this color to green. I love it. It's exactly what I want it to be. I put my affiliate links in it, all that good stuff. And I want to save this so I can use it later on in different pages. Well, I can click on the element that I want to save. I want to save this entire set of columns. And I can go ahead and click the Save button. And now you have the option of saving it as a template, which kind of like the pages where we pulled the entire page in, you can pull in this exact replica of this resource recommendation page with a click to any page you want. So let's go ahead and call this camera example. You can also add them to categories to help you find them later on. I'll call this YouTube examples. Add it as a category, and I will save it. So now if I want to add this guy in again, I can go back to my plus button. I can pull in now a template and a symbol. And let's say I want to drag it right below it. Boom. It'll automatically pull up your all the templates you saved. So these are a few that I have saved. And I just save that camera example. Bada bing, bada boom. Now I have an exact replica of this template. But what happens if I want to add this to multiple pages, but I want to have the flexibility of if I adjust, let's say, a link, or if I adjust the description. Let's say this was an author box where I tell my backstory, I talk about my family, all this good stuff. I want that to be the same across every page that I put it on. But it could be a total burden to go in and update 100 or 1,000 web pages once I've built out my site enough to adjust the one thing. Especially, what if I find a spelling error? Oh my gosh. So let me show you how Thrive has solved this problem once and for all. I want to go through and find an author box, because I think that's a very good example of this. So as I scroll through here, you can see easily adding a table of contents, which is so convenient. And boom, it automatically updates with all the heading text I've found on the page. Let me go through and add that author box. So an author box would probably be kind of like a testimonial, or it'd be a styled box. Let's take a look at each one and see which one looks the best here. So styled box, Thrive does a great job of giving you a lot to work with already. So this looks like a bio box. Perfect. Exactly what I'm looking for. It's a bit more masculine of a... Let's go with this guy. So let's say you have your setup here, and you update your things, and you're happy with this. So you take the entire content box. Let's take this content box, which includes all these little graphic additions to it. I'm going to save this as a symbol. And I'll add this to YouTube. And so now you can notice the color of this box has changed from that green to kind of like a peach, or a, yeah, let's call it peach. So what that means now is this is now a symbol. And I can pull in another example of that symbol, and another replica of it. Let me just do that to show you something really, really exciting. And now I'm looking under my symbols here. I've made this author box. So I'll pull the exact replica in. But you notice now if I try to click on it, it won't let me just directly edit it like I'm used to. And that's because a symbol is something special. That means that wherever this shows up, it's linked to every other instance of it on the blog. What I mean by that is this guy and this guy, no matter what the text is, they should be equal. And they'll line up because I have them set as a symbol. So if I wanted to edit it, I can go ahead and edit as a symbol. And if I edit the one version of it, it should replicate those changes across every other location where it exists on my website. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's edit it as a symbol. And let's say I want to add this. So, hi there, I'm a dad, digital marketer, and all-around hungry dude because I haven't had lunch yet and I can't stop thinking about it. So let's go ahead and click off of this. And let's save and reload this page. What we'll do is we'll say we're done editing the symbol. And actually, I don't even need to reload the page. It automatically updated this version as well because they are linked. So that is a huge time saver with Thrive themes and Thrive Architect. All right, so I've showed you a lot about just kind of using the tool in general, but I want to really focus in on the one key reason why this is my #1 most recommended page builder for WordPress, and that is because of its split testing capabilities. So in this next section of the video, we're going to go ahead and set up a split test with 2 different landing pages and show you why this is so stinking easy and able to increase your conversions as a smart digital marketer. Let's go ahead and dive in. So we're here on our old page. We're going to go ahead and create just a very simple landing page here. Let's go into Phonic, and I'm sure they have a universal podcast landing page. So let's pull this guy in. I'll show you how different your landing pages can look so easily. Okay, free conversion optimization guide in 10 steps, which is great because I have a course that's very similar to that. And so, wow, this is pretty cool. So not only is this a landing page where there's a clear call to action at the top, it also has my recent blog post here at the bottom here, which is pretty nice. So let's say we want to test this version against something else. We'll go ahead and just click split test. And boom. So now we're in the split test wizard, and we're going to create a different variation of this page to test against itself. Let's say I want to create one where instead of offering also some blog posts, because that could take my users off of the action I want them to take, I'm going to create a very simple, focused landing page which does not give them the ability to click off. Okay, so we pulled up our variation 2, and like we saw before, I'm just creating a brand new page from scratch, so it's pulling in all my theme information. But like I said, I want to test doing a very simple lead generation form against one that offers the ability to go to my blog post as well. So let's do this 2-step lead generation form. Choose that template and load it up. And what's great about Thrive Architect is it gives you the ability to have these awesome little click pops where if I click that button, let me show you something here. Under buttons, you've got a lot of options here. So the action, animation and actions of this button is going to open a light box when I click it. And I can show you that in just a second. Let me show you what it's going to look like by hitting save real quick and doing a quick preview. So this page here, you can see it's got a nice hover action here. When I hover over it, it gets a little bit darker. And it's going to open up a little click pop. That helps increase conversions, which has been shown over and over again, which is great. So we're going to go ahead and take this as another option for our split test. Get rid of our preview. And let's go ahead and save our work. And go back to our split test here. So now you can see we have two very different page variations. And this is what's really unique about Thrive Architect is you're not limited to just changing the headline and test them against each other. You can change your color schemes, your layout, the amount of content on your page, all these cool things, which makes it a really great page builder to use if your focus is on digital marketing and conversion optimization. Okay, so after this, we can go into set up our split test. You can name it and do all these different things. And I won't go through all this yet because I haven't set up the thank you page and all the different parts of the funnel, but you can see how very easy it is. You make a few more clicks from this point on, and you've got a fully up and running automated split test, which is really, really cool. Okay, so we've kind of showed you the tool enough. I think at this point, I want to give you my honest opinions about its ease of use. And for me now, Thrive Architect is one of the easiest page builders to use, but it wasn't when I first got started. There were a few tricks and tips I had to learn along the way, and if you sign up with my affiliate link, I'll give you a course that kind of walks you through how Thrive Architect works, which will be very useful in getting you up and running quickly on the tool. But if you're just getting started with it, it can be a little frustrating. I'll be honest with you, because I feel like it's kind of built with a developer's mindset in mind. I mean, you're down to the, changing your pixel width here, and this content box can have this much width, but this content box can have less width. It gives you so many options and freedom, but it also requires you to kind of keep your stuff under control. So it teaches you how to learn kind of smart management of how your web design is going, which is a great life skill to learn, but it can be a little challenging as a newbie. So I'd kind of give it maybe a 6 out of 10 for ease of use in your first month. But after that, once you start to get really good and iterate on it, it becomes second nature, like almost anything else in life, right? As far as value, I think Thrive Architect is an amazing value. When you pair Thrive Architect with Thrive Optimize, you have the ability to make beautiful blog posts, which can convert much higher than just the standard editor text. You have the ability to create landing pages from their own library, as well as import or export out your own landing pages, where if you wanted to buy some from a secondary market, or if you want to offer them as a service, as a tool to sell to other people, that's a whole income stream opportunity there with Thrive Architect. And you can also split test every one of those to find out which one's going to be best for you. And the big benefit of doing those split tests is now you can systematically reduce your cost per conversion. You can spend more on ads if you know that those ads are converting better. So there's a ton of reasons to always be split testing the work that you're doing. On to reliability of the plugin itself. I've had a great reliability story with Thrive Architect. I've seen increased page speeds primarily because you can tell Thrive to split away all the theme information, all the built-in CSS. If you have a lot of JavaScript running in the background of your website or a lot of tracking scripts, you can get rid of a lot of those and only put in the tracking scripts that you really want for your landing pages. So maybe your Facebook pixel code, maybe a Google Tag Manager code, maybe Google Analytics. You can let those be the only tracking scripts that run on those page. But on your blog post, maybe you have some other ones for other little small thingamajigs that you want to have on your posts. So page speed has improved. And also, I've never really had problems with my pages going down or not functioning correctly. Sometimes you'll run into caching problems. If you try to have a caching program on your page, you can run into problems there, but there's really easy settings for using caching plugins correctly with Thrive Architect, and I can link to those in the description below. And as far as support, I think Thrive Themes is probably the best when it comes to continuing the education of their customers. They have an entire Thrive University where they offer courses on how to make better conversion optimized videos and courses and pages and all sorts of cool stuff. And I've picked up a lot, and I've grown as a digital marketer as well, using them as my educator. And then as far as the support themselves, they have a support forum for members where if you have any problems with your website, you can actually securely share the back end of your WordPress site, and they can pop in there, try to see what's going on. And I've had good results from their support. I would say it's not the best. I haven't found any live chat option, which would be great. But for a support ticket type of process, it works well enough, right? The big thing is take things step by step and learn as you go. Try not to make a million changes and not test it, because if you do break something along the way, you want to know where it was that it broke, right? And that's kind of on us as the marketers. So that's kind of it for this video. I've gone on for a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I hope that you can see how passionate I am about Thrive Architect and the Thrive Themes family of products as well. What I would recommend for you to do, if you're interested in giving this a try, I would strongly urge you to give a chance to the membership, because Thrive Architect and Thrive Optimize are two of the probably a suite of 10 plus plugins that Thrive has released so far. They're also working on their Thrive Theme Builder, which will allow you to customize every part of your theme, from the header to the footer to the sidebar to the archives page and everything else, to where you won't need another theme ever again, because you'll take all the skill you have with Thrive Architect and have the exact same page building experience to build out your entire theme, which I am super excited for personally. So if you're interested in giving this a try, go ahead and click on the link in the description below. It's my affiliate link. I'll get a small commission at no cost to you if you want to give the membership or the individual plugins a shot. And just want to say thank you for checking out this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.